As part of CRUD operations in JSP, in this session we will learn how to create or insert data into the database table using Servlet and JSP. In the last session, we created table name student with three columns: student ID, name and CGPA, and performed a read operation to retrieve data from the table student and send those data to Java server page using servlets. In this session, we will use the same database table student and perform insert operation. To perform insert operation, open Red Hat Code Ready Studio and open the existing project which we created in the last session to retrieve data from the database table and send those data to Java server page. Then open the file studentmanager.java. Create a new method to perform insert operation. So the method is created in the name save data to perform insert operation. This method will return an acknowledgement in the form of string. It takes parameter as an object of the entity class student. Then initialize the connection object by using driver manager dot get connection and pass the three parameters: connection URL, database username, and database password. We need to handle the exception or else we need to place the statement inside the try catch block. To handle the exception, just add throws exception to the method save data. Then initialize the preferred statement object is equal to connection dot call the method preferred statement pass insert query to perform insert operation on the table student. Insert into table name student values. The table student has three columns. First column is student ID, second column student name, and third CGPA. So the parameterized query is constructed to perform insert operation in the table student. Next, set the parameters. ps dot call the method setInt. The parameter sequence number 1 value from the object s dot get student id. The student id is declared as an integer in the table. We should use the method setInt to set value for student id. Next, call the method setString. Parameter sequence number 2 value from the object s dot get name. The name is declared as varchar in the table, so we can use the method setString to set value for name. Then ps dot call the method setDouble. Parameter sequence number 3 value from the object s dot call the method get CGPA. So CGPA is declared as a double in the database, so we should use the method setDouble to set value for CGPA. Then call the method execute to execute the query. Then close the connection and return an acknowledgement. Data inserted successfully. Then save Now create a new JSP file to get input from user. So choose the directory webf, go to the option new, then choose JSP file and name the JSP file as add new. Okay. So this is the default code available in the newly created JSP file. I just change the title as insert data. In the body section, I just place a header, add new student. Then add a form tag and place 3 text box control to get input from user, student ID, student name and CGPA, and place 1 button control to submit the form data to the servlet. So I placed 3 text controls to get input from user, student ID, name and CGPA, and 1 button control to submit the form data to the servlet. So I named the control as SID, SNAME and SCGPA. Then save the file, close, create a servlet in the package com.controller. So choose the package com.controller, go to the option new servlet and class name of the servlet entered as add data. So now we are going to create a servlet to perform insert operation into the table student. Then finish, it creates a new servlet in the same package com.controller. Once the servlet is created, uh, we can open the file add data.java. So this is the default code available in the file add data.java. So just remove the command lines and remove constructors, the default statement from the method do get and default statement from the method do post. Then start writing a logic in the method do get to interact with the com.model student manager class and as well as with your user interface design add new.jsp. So in the method do get, set the content type for response object by using the method set content type value as text HTML. Then create object for the class print writer and initialize the object by using the response parameter object. Then call the method getWriter. Then create object for the class student.java and studentmanager.java from the package com.model. Create a try catch to handle the exception. So this is the general syntax of try catch block to handle the exception. So inside the try block, create object for the entity class student. So select it from the list, that student class from the package com.model. If you select it from the list, the package will be added automatically to your Java file. So student is the class name, S is an object and initialize the class student object. Then create object for the class student manager. I named the object as SM and initialize by using the class name student manager. Then create a temporary variable int SID equal to value from the request parameter object, then call the method getParameter. get value from the control SID. In the file add new.jsp, I placed three text controls that will be named as SID, SNAME and SCGPA. So these are the three controls are placed to get input from user. So in the servlet, I just try to get value from the control SID, SNAME and SCGPA. The method getParameter returns the value in the form of string that we need to convert it into an integer. Use the class integer and call the method parseInt to convert the result of request.getParameter method. So second, create another instance variable string sname equal to, since it is a string data type, so no need to convert the value from the method getParameter. So just call the method request.getParameter, the control name sname. Then create an instance variable for double data type, that is SCGPA equal to, we need to convert the value in the form of double, so that use the class name double dot call the method parse double, get value from the request object dot get parameter, the control name is SCGPA. So then set the values to the entity class object S. S dot call the method set student ID, the value of the local variable SID, and then S dot set name, the local variable SName passed as a parameter to the method set name. Then call the method S dot set CGPA, and the parameter is the local variable SCGPA. So then create another instance variable to get acknowledgement from the method save data from the class student manager. So equal to, use the object of student manager SM dot call the method save data and pass parameter to the method is an object of entity class. So then write a response by using the object of print writer pw dot call the method print and pass acknowledgement as a servlet response. If any error occurred, that will be handled by the catch block. There send the response from the method e dot get message. So e is an object of exception class. If any error occurred in the try block, that will be handled by the catch block. So the object e is an object of the exception class. The method getMessage will convert the error message in the form of string that will be returned as a servlet response. Then open index.jsp, add a hyperlink reference to open add new.jsp file. So now we can preview the index.jsp file. It will be like this. Get details already done in the previous session. Now I created a hyperlink. It says add new student. If user click on this hyperlink, it opens add new.jsp. In add new.jsp, we placed a form tag with the 3 text controls and 1 submit button. These 3 text controls are used to get input from user, student ID, name and CGPA. The submit button used to submit the form data to the servlet. So servlet is already created. The servlet name is add data to perform insert operation to interact with the student manager class. So now in the place of form action equal to call the servlet add data. So this is the class name of the servlet add data. Whenever user click on the submit button, the servlet will be invoked based on the action attribute, and the method equal to get. So it invokes the doGet method from the servlet add data. Then save, deploy your project on the server, then check your output. Once the project is deployed, the browser will be open. By default, it opens index.jsp. Their get details are already done in the previous session. Now the another CRUD operation will be added. So click on the hyperlink add new student. It opens the file add new.jsp. There we can insert records to the table student. So I try to insert a record student ID 1005, student name and the CGPA. Then click on save button. It calls the servlet add data. So the servlet responds an acknowledgement duplicate entry 1005 for key student.primary. So open MySQL database and execute the query select star from KLU student. Already the record 1005 present in the table. Since the student ID is declared as primary key, it will not accept a duplicate value. That's why we got a response from the servlet as duplicate entry 1005 for the key student.primary. So try to insert some other value 1006. 1006 is not available in the table. Then click on save button. Now we got the response as data inserted successfully. The same will be verified in the database table. Execute the select query one more time. Now the record with the student ID 1006 will be inserted in the database table student. Now the response will be displayed on the new web page. I would like to get the response on the same web page, that means add new.jsp. We need to write a statement to send response to add new.jsp. So open a servlet file add data.jsp. At the end of the doGet method, create object for request dispatcher and initialize the object by using the request parameter and call the method get request dispatcher. So here we need to mention the destination file where the response return back. So the destination file is add new.jsp. Then by using the object of request dispatcher, call the method include. By default it takes the parameter of the doGet method. The doGet method has 2 parameters. One is request and another one is response. Then end with semicolon, save. So deploy the project by choosing the project root directory. Go to the option run as run on server. Once it is deployed, click on add new student. Try to insert some record. And the CGPA. Click on Save button. It invokes the Savlet add data with the value of student ID, name and CGPA. We got the response in the same web page add new.jsp.